Hi, sorry, it's very loud. This is a field trip version of Today in the Fourth Reich, here with your host Sophie of standwithsophie.com. I am out and about today because I have to take my little girl to a doctor's appointment. I didn't want you to be without your news from the future, so of course, the thing that's hot off the presses is the Donald Trump Elon Musk couples spat, which we all knew was coming. Hi, Brooke, or Bookie, excuse me. Hi, Frank. I'm Sophie of standwithsophie.com. I live in the UK, and so I'm lucky enough to have escaped America, but also to be able to give you news from 5 hours into America's future. So that's what I'm trying to do, although it's pretty simple today. The thing on everybody's minds is the Ellen and Donald, Elanya and Donald couple spat. So, I think that's going to dominate the headlines. But in other news, we talked a little bit about how Adriana Smith is still being used as an incubator for her baby, even though she's brain dead. This is going on day 108 of that. We're on day 83 of Kilmore Arbrego Garcia and Andre Hernandez and all those poor gentlemen who were sent to CCOT and El Salvador. They're still there, even though just yesterday the Trump administration returned an immigrant or a migrant that was wrongfully sent to Mexico. And so we know they can bring these people back. They just choose not to. But again, I think we're starting to see a bit of an unraveling, especially with all this new Ellen drama. Just to sum all of that up, essentially, he was fired. He just reached the end of his special employeeship over Doge. His 130-day mark came and they let him go, even though he thought he was going to be able to stay on longer. So the day after that, when he was in the Oval Office, high as fuck off of his rocker, the day after that, he tweeted, "Oh, I can't stand it anymore. This big, beautiful bill is terrible," or whatever. And that just started this whole back and forth. It took Trump a while to engage, He was like, what is to be gained? But it took him a while to engage. But when he did, he basically was like, well, he's not talking about me. He's just talking about this bill. And then Ellen was like, no, I'm talking about you. And so it's devolved to a point where Ellen is basically saying that Trump wouldn't have gotten elected without him, which we know. This is facts. He's also saying that the reason they don't release the Epstein files is because Donald Trump is all over them. And of course, again, we knew this. We know, so it's just funny, like, to see the inner thoughts start to come out. So he's trying to, I think what's going on is, I feel like Ellen is having a hard time taking ownership of the fact that the reason $1 billion is because he screwed the pooch with Doge, and then he showed up in the Oval Office visibly high as a kite. And I don't think he can take ownership of the fact that, the White House and that administration wanted to distance themselves from him. And so now he's going on the offensive. It's pure projection. I mean, but again, we all knew this day was coming. And so, I'm going to eat my popcorn and watch it unfold. So Trump's talking about canceling a lot of the contracts that SpaceX and Tesla, I'm guessing, with those cyber trucks that we were supposed to get, all those are supposed to be getting canceled. I am all for that. I really wish, we were just talking about how Japan is sending up their second attempt to reach the moon. Unfortunately, it didn't go well. They failed in that mission, but I'm glad we're still pushing aerospace initiatives that are outside of Elon's weird obsession with trying to get to Mars. I mean, that'd be great, but we have so many other frontiers we have to shore up first. And so hopefully when the dust settles from all this, we'll see. I'm sorry. When the dust settles from all this, we'll see NASA get a reinvigoration of funding. We'll see, Trump get impeached, maybe. Who knows? I mean, I feel like money talks. I just hope we don't disillusion ourselves into thinking that somehow, some way, Elon Musk is on our side now. He's talking about, we want to see who's. I'm on the side of the people. We want to make a third political party that captures the middle 80%, as if he has any idea what it's like to be in the middle class, upper, lower, anything. So it's absolutely and I know I've been saying this a lot with the dog whistles, but this is another dog whistle. It's just another thing to keep us putting our eyes on things that aren't really important, and also that we knew were going to happen. We knew they were going to have a couples fight. We knew they were going to have a rift. They're two. I cannot say alpha males because they're not. They're two narcissists in one room, and that doesn't. I can't even say there's too many cooks in the kitchen because they don't have any sort of leadership capacity at all. It's just two narcissists in a room together, and we all know how that was going to turn out. So again, nobody's surprised, but again, I just hope that we don't lose ourselves into thinking that suddenly Elon's going to be on our side. I mean, now granted, it would be amazing if he actually recaptures the Democrats. I know he's talking about making a third political party, but it would be, I feel like that'd be the Democrats' best move right now, is to try to get Elon back on the fold with them. Not that they're doing it, not that they're going to, because the Democrats fucking suck. God, they suck. They suck so bad. There's been so many moments that they could have really capitalized on just showing that they're the party for the people, and they have failed so miserably. But here's yet another opportunity where they could swoop in and get Elon back, and use that money, use the X platform, use his anger and his indignation right now to try to capitalize on that. And I don't think they're gonna. But that would be my advice if I had the ear of anybody in the DNC. So that's going to be the big headline today. Again, hi, thanks for joining. I'm Sophie of standwithsophie.com. I have survival guides and live trainings and printable action cards and secure comms and all kind of things to help us navigate Trump's Fourth Reich. And so, I feel like we're in some ways looking at two Gaijins, who are fighting, and us plebs down on the ground are going to feel this battle in some ways. Then in other ways, I think, not only was it not unexpected, but it kind of needs to happen. I'm glad the rift is starting to show between these two men, if we can call them that. But again, we'll see how it falls out. In the meantime, in between time, we just can't lose ourselves into thinking that Elon is going to be redeemed, or that he's redeemable, or that he's on our side, or that he's for the people. So as long as we keep that in mind, I think we'll be okay. Ultimately, though, that's that piece of news. We already covered some other news, but how Japan's second attempt to reach the moon failed, unfortunately, yesterday. We are one day away from Greta Thunberg making her way to... Hi, Dennis. Thank you for the follow. But yeah, we're one day away from Greta Thunberg making her way to Gaza with some aid. She's trying to take a flotilla there. So it's her second attempt to do so. They tried in May, and their boat was the subject of drone strikes from his reel. And so unfortunately they weren't able to do it then. So we're really hoping they can do it now. But his reel has said that they're prepared for them to come, very ominously. So, she's really putting her life on the line. There's 12 people on that boat trying to bring some protein bars and milk and just some sustenance to these poor people. And so we'll see how it goes. My fingers are crossed for them. I'm not a religious person, but if you are, certainly keep them in your thoughts. So we'll see how that goes. In other news, Harvard was being attacked by Trump by way of canceling their ability to accept foreign students. And so a judge actually blocked that effort. And so we're now seeing that the judiciary is trying to put a hold on Trump's ability to prevent Harvard from getting foreign students. And so that's a positive sign. But again, I feel like we're in this battle with Trump where he'll make an EO or he'll make a proclamation, and then the courts will say, no, or if there's any kind of pushback, usually he'll fold sometimes. But for things like this, where I think his son applied and didn't get in, and Ivy League schools have eluded him and made him feel stupid his whole life. So I think this is more of a personal thing. So he's still going so hard against them in Columbia and stuff like that. And so, we'll see how his personal vendettas shake out, because they do tend to, those aren't dissuaded very easily. So we'll see what happens next. But again, it's just a pattern of he does something and the judiciary says no. And we're now seeing, ever since he got inaugurated, that he's not listening. If they say no, he's still going about his business and doing the same thing they told him not to do anyway. So again, we'll see how it plays out. I think that's kind of the big stuff. So I'm going to try to keep an eye on news and stuff. Again, I'm out. This is a field trip version of Today in the Fourth Reich. I'm Sophie of StandWithSophie.com. Or I have like survival guides and trainings and all kind of, things to help us get through Donald Trump's Fourth Reich. But I escaped to America, and so I live in the UK, and I'm able to give you news from 5 hours into America's future. So that's what this is. And again, just to recap, outside of what we're seeing all over the place with the couple spat with Donald Trump and Elon. Alanya. Outside of that, we saw again that Harvard, Trump's attempts to prevent Harvard from getting foreign students has been blocked. So they're now able to continue fielding for I forget what kind of visa it is, but the student visas for foreign students. Thank you so much for the taps and the likes. I got 6. Thank you. I really appreciate it. We also saw Japan's second attempt to reach the moon fail, unfortunately, but hopefully they'll try again. I'm really, I love the fact that we still have our eyes on the skies. Thanks for tapping. I appreciate that. I'm also seeing, let's see, that the Canada wildfires are really starting to become a thing. Like, I live in North Carolina when I'm in America. And so I'm getting all these notifications that even in North Carolina, and I've even heard as far down as Florida, that the winds are bringing really bad air quality to even southern states. So just be careful. Make sure you wear a mask if you're outside, if you're in a more northerly place, because, it's getting pretty bad. CT says, womp, womp. I don't think you can see it. Why would they block that? It just says womp womp. I'm sorry, CT. That's not me doing that, sweetheart. But yeah, so womp womp indeed to wildfires anywhere. But it's kind of sad that Trump has done so much to interfere with meteorology and with FEMA and with emergency planning and response, and also just with our relationship with Canada. Because wouldn't it be great if we had some way of helping them mitigate that? Because even as bad as the California wildfires were, it was very competently handled. And so, if we were able to, as a government, help our northerly neighbors instead of shitting on them like we've been doing, that would be fantastic. But yeah, so that's something to keep an eye on. And then, of course, the big news is that Ellen and Donald are having a little spat, and it's spilling over into all kind of areas. And also, just I'm glad we might have some benefits from this. Maybe the big beautiful bill won't pass. I was of the mind that it's going to pass. I mean, of course, it's going to pass. All the bullshit that they're trying to do is being done. Nothing is going to stop anyone. Congress certainly isn't. So I'm absolutely, elated that perhaps Ellen putting his money in his mouth toward stopping this would be great. Because if it, somebody said that if it were to pass, it would not only change it would not only change how the government's money is designated, but it would change the government. And so I absolutely agree with that. There's another reel that's out there about somebody who put the whole 890 something page bill into Chat GPT and just asked it what it thought. And it was like, this is scary. This is authoritarian. This is fundamentally going to slash agencies that we need and take money out of the poorest people's hands, and all of our programs are going to be slashed. That this is authoritarian. I was like, damn, Chat GPT, okay. So, again, anything that helps this to not pass would be great. I'm still of the mindset that we're fucked, and so I just think that it's gonna pass. Like all the people that they were like, there's no way Kash Patel is gonna get. Oh, speaking of Kash Patel, he fired a bunch of officials in the FBI recently, so they're continuing that trend, even though Doge is effectively neutered, and so yeah, we were all like, there's no way they're gonna get Tulsi Gabbard in. There's no way they're Pete Hegseth. And of course they get confirmed. Of course the bill passed the House. And so like I just feel like anything he wants to do, Trumping, he's gonna do. And so it's nice to see with this couple spat that perhaps we might actually get this bill chucked out. That'd be awesome. But that's it, really. Those are the big headlines of the day. And I'll be back tomorrow with our regularly scheduled program. Sorry, I'm on a bit of a field trip. I'm by an escalator, so it's a little bit loud. But I had to take my little baby girl. She's sleeping. I don't know if you can see her, but she's got a doctor's appointment. So I'm out and about today. So again, we'll be back tomorrow with our regularly scheduled program. But again, just to recap, I am Sophie of StandWithSophie.com. And I have survival guides and live trainings and printable action cards and all kind of things to help us get through Donald Trump's Fourth Reich. And so being that I left America because it's a dumpster fire, I live in the UK now, which means that I can deliver the news very accurately, but I also can't be disappeared for doing it. So since I'm 5 hours into America's future, I'm just trying to give you the headlines that I think might matter today. And so the big one, of course, is the spat between Ellen and Donald Trump. And we're seeing that that's now having all these other fallouts that are very interesting, as in Trump's threatening to cancel SpaceX and Tesla contracts. And that was very loud here, sorry. And Ellen is talking about how they're not releasing the Epstein files because Donald Trump is all over them and in them. And so they're just back and forth, and I'm just eating my popcorn and enjoying it. Also, Kash Patel again fired a bunch of FBI officials. We're on day 108 of Adriana Smith still being used as a human incubator for her fetus, even though she is brain dead. We're on day 83 of the gentlemen who were sent to El Salvador still being there, despite the fact that just yesterday the Trump administration brought a migrant home who was wrongfully deported to Mexico. So they can do it. They're just not doing it, even though they were told by the Supreme Court to do it. So, whatever. And then lastly, unfortunately, Japan failed in its second attempt to reach the moon. But good luck on them for giving it a shot, and hopefully they'll try again. But again, that's the big news of the day. Harvard, Trump was going after Harvard and saying they couldn't have foreign students, and a judge has blocked that. So we'll see what happens next with that. Um, and sorry to jump around a little bit, but in the fallout from Ellen and Donald's spat, or I presume it's more so because Ellen showed up in the White House high as hell, visibly. His stock has dropped like 150 something billion dollars, and so he's, reeling from all of that, and I think that's what precipitated him starting this whole Twitter battle, which is so gay. And they thought Kamala would be too emotional, right? So anyway, happy Pride, y'all. I'll see you tomorrow. We'll be back with our regularly scheduled program then. Have a good day.